So I'm reflecting on the last 10 years in business. I want to do a little series on 10 lessons I've learned in the last 10 years. And I would have to say the number one lesson I've learned working with small, medium businesses in particular is that you have to build your company culture first, because that company culture will take you through the most joyous times. If you have challenges in the business, a great culture will thrive. So year one, when I worked with one of my first clients, Boston Pizza, you could be working in your organization for a decade or decades, and the culture just happens by default. The reality is, if it's a really great culture, chances are you've done things not even realizing it to plan delight along the way. It's really an output of what you input, and so it has to be planned. So great company culture is always the number one thing that I would say, whether it's your customers or whether it's that new potential employee, your culture is seen by everyone. But one of the tactical things that I would always share when it comes to building company culture is regular coaching. My friends, get rid of those yearly reviews because they're kind of like BS. Like, the reality is, how are you going to remember somebody doing something in January, February, and then talk to them about it at the end of the year? Like, it doesn't make sense. There's a lot of science behind why it doesn't make sense. But anybody that's ever worked with me has typically fought me back on this a little bit with regular coaching. And that regular coaching conversation has to be bite-sized, but it has to be consistent. Your people need to know that their effort makes a difference. And even when there's nothing bad to coach on, there's good to coach on. And we got to reinforce those positive behaviors. Put a coaching structure together that works for you and works for them and is consistent. Any leader I've worked with that has put the coaching in practice, and sometimes it's taken me over a year to get them to realize the value of that 10-minute coaching conversation. I mean, think about it. If you have a staff of 20 people and all you're spending is 10 minutes with each one of those people, and there's a structure to what a 10-minute conversation looks like. Be an actual dedicated, intentional time to coach, not just in passing, hey buddy, you did a great job. Not intentional. To know that you're there for them specifically. Any manager that has implemented this has always told me that there's a consistent transformation in their organization because people know that their effort makes a difference. One of the reasons I get a pushback from leaders is because there's a level of accountability now. They're now scheduling one day to really focus on developing and strengthening your team. One leader I work with, she's a day out of the office and she's home that day and she does virtual coaching. Fantastic, because she's consistent, number one, but she's still coaching them when she's on the floor the other 4 days of the week. And so as a leader, it's about time we hold ourselves accountable to getting those results. And get out, my friends, what you put into it. And so pour into your people, because they're going to give you their best results when they know that you care and that you're watching and that you're committed to their growth.